Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to meet the news on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Sadia Yakubu. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channels 276. And now the news in details. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, has formally taken over the prosecution of his immediate predecessor, Abubakar Malami, in the terrorism and illegal firearms possession brought against him by the Department of the State Service, DSS. Fagbemi, a senior advocate of Nigerian SAN, took over the trial from the DSS on Wednesday at the Federal High Court in Abuja. At the Wednesday's proceedings, where prosecutions of Malami and his son Abdulaziz Malami was to kickstart, Fagbemi, through the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, Rotimi Oyedepo, SAN, announced appearance in the matter. The Executive Secretary, Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, Soni Echono, has constituted a TETFund Advisory Committee on Robotic Coding, Artificial Intelligence, Machine Learning Centers, and Cybersecurity. The committee is to monitor and guide interventions in engineering and technology across various tertiary institutions. Saadat Garba reports.
Inaugurating the committee, Executive Secretary of TETFund, Soni Echono, described the occasion as a step to strengthen the implementation of interventions across beneficiary institutions with a focus on priority areas of national importance.
To identify and list institutions with demonstrable strength and capacity in robotics, coding, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and cybersecurity studies. B. To set criteria and conditions for selection of beneficiary institutions to benefit or to host any of the centers. C. To recommend not more than 6 beneficiary institutions to host the proposed center, taking into consideration the geopolitical zones as enshrined in the TETFund Act.
Chairman of the Advisory Committee, Yakubu Ochefu, commended the bold decision to establish dedicated centers of excellence in the field of robotics, coding, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and cybersecurity. He promised that the committee will discharge its duties diligently and focus on the future of the nation's tertiary education system.
Stand before you to accept this task of chairing the TETFund Committee on Robotics, Coding and Artificial Intelligence, Machine Learning and Cybersecurity Studies, to the Board of Trustees. My members and I accept this responsibility and pledge that we will abide by the terms of reference and discharge the mandate with distinction, diligence, and unwavering focus on the future of our nation's tertiary educational systems.
The impact of these centers on job creation, innovation, and economic growth is enormous, as technology plays a major role in nearly every sector, which is critical to Nigeria's economic transformation. Sada Garba, reporting for Global TV News.
The Nigerian Army has called on commanding officers across its formations to take greater responsibility for combat readiness through professionalism and discipline. This was contained in a statement posted on the official page of the Nigerian Army following the first Commanding Officers Workshop 2026 held on March 3rd at the Army War College, Nigeria, W. Basi Barracks, Abuja. Addressing the soldiers at the workshop, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waide Shuaibu, represented by Major General Olusegun Abayi, said tactical leadership at the unit level must be driven by sound judgment and measurable results. Away from that story, the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has assured residents of Buhari Area Council of continued development. These came during a thank you visit to the community where the minister appreciated the people for their support. Kabir Hassan has details.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, reaffirmed his administration commitment to delivering impactful projects across the territory. He said initiative under the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu will further improve infrastructure and livelihoods. The minister urged residents to remain united and sustain their support for government programs, while assuring youth and women of inclusive opportunities and improved social amenities.
I did say, under the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we will give Buhari the necessary support. The youth will be carried along. Let me thank the people of Buhari for coming out under this sun to receive us. God will continue to bless you.
The minister emphasizes that the FCT administration will continue to ensure equitable development across all area councils. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has restated his administration's commitment to restoring lasting peace in Sankari, a region that has faced repeated security challenges in recent years. He gave the assurance during a stopover at the Ukum Local Government Secretariat while traveling to Bukari in Taraba State for a peace meeting. Governor Alia said his government is collaborating with the federal government to strengthen security operations in Sankari and other troubled parts of the state. A major political realignment is unfolding in Imo State as prominent members of the People's Democratic Party defect to the All Progressives Congress in the move observers said could reshape the state political landscape. Ahead of the party state congress, Amarachi Ibe has the details.
At the Executive Council Chambers of Government House in Owerri, party faithfuls drawn from various local government areas formally announced their defection to the ruling party, describing the move as a strategic decision. Leader of the defectors, Mike Ikoku, said their action was driven by confidence in the leadership style and developmental strides of the state governor.
Your Excellency, these are the people here today. We have the candidates that ran election in the last election that are also here to join you. Did I pay any of you money? No! Did I induce any of you? No! Your Excellency, nobody was induced. Everybody you see here are the ambassadors of Senator Hope Uzodinma.
Welcoming the new members, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma stressed the importance of unity and collaboration in advancing the state's development, assuring defectors of equal opportunities and inclusive governance.
Infrastructure. We continue to build on what will make Imo great. I will consult with your leadership. I will get some of you immediately and appoint them into the government.
Meeting with the party stakeholders, Governor Uzodinma urged leaders to remain united and focused ahead of state congress as party executive passed a vote of confidence in his administration.
Join me to create a kind of coherence, an atmosphere that will allow for peaceful politics in Imo State. Because if we don't have stability, we may not guarantee security. And if we don't guarantee security, there will be no development. So I advise all of us with ambition to contest the election to please sheathe their sword, allow the state to produce a structure, and then we can now use the structure to travel.
In a symbolic ceremony marking their formal admission into the ruling party, the APC broom emblem was presented to the defectors. The latest political alignment is expected to influence party dynamics in Imo State in the coming months. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe reporting for Global TV News.
The All Progressives Congress in Plateau State has successfully conducted a peaceful and well-attended state congress, re-electing Rufus Baturi and other members of the State Executive Committee through a consensus arrangement. The Congress at Langfield Event Center brought together delegates from the 17 local government areas of Plateau State. Chairman of the State Congress Committee, Oscar Oyebo, presented the list of consensus candidates, which was unanimously adopted through a voice vote by delegates. Governor Caleb Mutfwang commended delegates for their orderly and peaceful conduct of the exercise, describing it as historic and a statement to the party's maturity and internal cohesion. Still talking politics, the immediate past Commissioner for Water Resources in Kano State, Umar Haruna Dogwa, has emerged as the state chairman of the All Progressives Congress. Dogwa was elected during the party's state congress held in Kano in the early hours of Wednesday. Delegates from the 44 local government areas endorsed him and other consensus candidates through a voice vote at the Congress, supervised by officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission. You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. Midday News continues after the weather forecast, plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Thank you for joining us. Weather conditions across the northern states remain very dry under the influence of those dry, dusty northeasterly winds. And with a fresh dust advancing from the source region, parts of Kano and Katsina are expected to experience very poor visibility, down to 1,000 meters or less. Residents in these areas are advised to drive carefully, use a nose mask where necessary, and stay updated through our eFlight folder portal for latest and more weather information. Elsewhere across the north, visibility is expected to range between 2,000 to 5,000 meters under moderate dust haze, while the north-central states will experience a more slightly dusty condition. Now, while the north stays dusty, the south prepares for rainfall activities as thunderstorms are expected during the morning hours in parts of Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and Ondo states. This rain chances increases as the day progresses to include the stretch of the coastal belt as well as parts of Oyo, Ondo, Ogun, Edo, and Delta states. That's the forecast for Wednesday. I am Theodorite. Thank you for watching.
Welcome back from that short break. At the business news, total value added tax earning rose to 1.08 trillion naira in January as a new sharing formula commenced, altering how the proceeds and splits among the federal government, state and local governments. Documents presented at the February meeting of the Federation Account Allocation Committee showed that total VAT collections by the Nigerian Revenue Service stood at 1.08 trillion naira in January 2026, compared with 91.96 billion in December 2025. The increase of 169.20 billion represents an 18.5% rise month on month. However, the full 1.8 trillion naira was not available for sharing. VAT deductions at the source amounted to 79.94 billion naira in January, up from 67.45 billion in December, leaving a net VAT of 1.00 trillion naira for distribution. Players in the Nigerian fintech sector have expressed differing opinions on the proposed creation of Nigerian Fintech Regulatory Commission. While some support the move, others warn it could create overlapping mandates and duplicate the role of existing regulators. National Assembly correspondent Anita Patrick reports.
Public hearing organized by the National Assembly's Joint Committees on Digital and Electronic Banking Regulations, Science and Technology Communications, and Capital Markets and Institutions aimed to gather input from leading fintech operators on the proposed bill. Lawmakers, however, stressed the importance of the proposed body in safeguarding citizens' hard-earned funds and closing regulatory gaps while maintaining harmony within the sector.
This bill, HB 2389, seeks to address these challenges in a structured and comprehensive manner. The bill before us today is also designed to establish the Nigerian FinTech Regulatory Commission.
Nigerian FinTech Regulatory Commission, if established, will enforce standard rules, codes of practices for operators and investors.
During presentations, fintech operators warned that a parallel regulator could raise compliance costs, reduce investor confidence, and slow innovation. They recommended retaining the Central Bank of Nigeria as the lead regulator with stronger coordination among the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, and the Securities and Exchange Commission.
OPE respectively recommends that the House of Representatives adopts a single-led regulator model anchored by the Central Bank of Nigeria. 2. Clearly define interagency coordination to avoid duplication.
It's going to result in duplication of regulations and regulators, right? And for us, this can create significant compliance burden.
At the close of the hearing, the committee acknowledged the recommendations and promised to consider them carefully.
The technical committee will look at all those agencies who have relationship with this bill. And we are going to look into it and look at where the fear of overlap to strengthen.
The bill seeks to establish the Nigerian FinTech Regulatory Commission with powers to impose penalties for corporate offenses, fines of up to 1 million naira or imprisonment for the first-time offenders and up to 5 million naira or 3 years for repeat offenses. It also empowers the Commission to appoint officials or inspectors to monitor compliance, inspect premises, and request relevant documents with proper authorization. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Oil marketers and refinery operators to urge the federal government to provide more crude oil to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery in Naira to help stabilize domestic fuel prices. The Dangote Refinery increased its gantry price from 774 Naira to 874 Naira. The adjustment followed a jump in oil prices to $84 per barrel, up from below $70 days before the airstrikes involving the United States, Iran, Israel, and other countries. The new gantry price is now 874 Naira per litre from 774 Naira. The review became necessary due to changes in global crude fundamentals and replacement costs, an official of the Dangote Refinery said. And on the foreign scene, United States First Lady Melania Trump has chaired a United Nations Security Council meeting as the U.S.-Israel war against Iran rages. She opened the meeting with the strike of a ceremonial gavel before thanking Britain for its month-long presidency. Completes the reports.
First Lady Melania first the cause of children caught incomplete as she chaired a UN Security Council meeting. While the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran intensifies, ambassadors from all of the Security Council's members, including Washington's rivals, Russia and China, lined up to meet with Melania Trump, representing the U.S. as it takes over the monthly rotating presidency of the Security Council.
Good afternoon. The 10,113 meeting of the Security Council is called to order. I would like to take this opportunity to pay tribute on behalf of the Council to the delegation of the United Kingdom for its service as President of the Council for the month of February. My heartfelt condolences to the families who have lost their heroes, who sacrificed their lives for freedom. Their bravery and dedication will always be remembered. I extend my earnest wishes for a swift and smooth recovery to all those who have been injured.
Moments later, the First Lady affirmed that the U.S. stands with all of the children throughout the world, expressing the hope that peace will be restored soon enough, without referring directly to the attacks across the Middle East.
The U.S. stands with all of the children throughout the world. I hope soon peace will be yours. Peace does not need to be fragile. Enduring peace will be achieved when knowledge and understanding are fully valued within all societies. The value placed on education by nations' leaders shape the core of their country's belief system.
She was warmly received by the countries represented in the council, with Greece Ambassador Algai Balta saying thank you, Madam President, while France envoy compared her to the celebrated former First Lady and activist Eleanor Roosevelt. Zahra Unasr reporting for Global TV.
The United States Embassy in Nigeria has cancelled all visa appointments scheduled for Wednesday, March 4, 2026, citing a high potential for protests in Abuja amid escalating hostilities between the United States and Iran. In a statement posted on its website on Wednesday, the embassy warned of potential demonstrations in the Federal Capital Territory and urged American citizens to remain indoors. The U.S. Embassy in Abuja informs U.S. citizens that there is a high potential for protest in Abuja March 4, 2026 due to the current conflict with Iran. And still in sports, still in the foreign news, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said that U.S.-Israel strikes on Iran had been inconsistent with international law, calling for a rapid de-escalation of the conflict. Speaking at a gathering of the Lowly Institute think tank in Sydney, Carney said Canada welcomed steps to change Iran's form of government, which he said represented the principal source of instability and terror in the Middle East. But he said the action will appear prima, not be consistent or inconsistent with international law. And in sports, sports manufacturer Adidas has unveiled the new South African football kit for the 2026-2027 season ahead of the FIFA World Cup and Women's African Cup of Nations, keeping with the standard yellow and green despite losing 3 points for field an ineligible player during the qualifying series. South African booked their place at the World Cup to be played in the US, Canada and Mexico ahead of Nigeria. Adidas signed as the new Bafana and Bayana kits supplier in late 2025, taking over from a French manufacturer. Selling sports, Nigerian striker Paul Onochuru reached a major milestone on Tuesday as he scored his 20th goal of the season, continuing his sensational form for Trabzonspor in the 4-2 victory over Başakşehir in Istanbul that booked the Black Sea Storm a place in Turkish Cup quarter-finals. The win saw Trabzonspor finish second in Group A with 9 points, selling progressions to the last 8 of the competition. Trabzonspor started the match strongly and took the lead in 6 minutes when Augusto converted a corner for Muchi with a pacey header. Sunday's 2-1 win over Crystal Palace at Old Trafford made its 6th win in 7 games for Carrick since his return to replace Ruben Amorim in January, sparking optimism among the fans. The performances, particularly at home, have inspired confidence and yield vital Premier League points, lifting them to 3rd place on the table. The Red Devils are also unbeaten in 7 matches under the former midfielder. Amorim's tenure, brief as it was, felt like another chapter in United modern experimental phase. His commitment to a defined system was admirable, but the Premier League is ruthless, with ideology not backed by results, a recurring theme at the club since Ferguson departed in 2013. And that's it on Media News. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, Channel 365, and Star Times, Channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using that Global TV NG. I am Sadia Yakubu saying thank you for watching.